Hello, Leo. I am Ulrich. I am a Lenormand card reader, and today we will do the philosophical financial card reading for the sign of Leo for the month of January. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Leo for the month of January, and these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can post them in the comments below, and of course, as soon as I have time, I will answer them. So Leo, here we go for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. Hello, Leo, and welcome to the Shell or the Water Group for your short financial philosophical card reading for the month of January. As your first card here, we see the card of cycles, the cycles of life. We all have them. Each cycle has challenges, as we know, in our life. For instance, and also, of course, we have certain challenges and expenses that we did not anticipate during those cycles. But for giving an example about the cycles itself, if we have a young child or a baby, we think once the child is out of the diapers, we are out of the expenses. But other parents already know if the children go into puberty, they go to sports schools, and the sports equipment, of course, is very expensive. Then they evolve one step further. They go to university. You need to pay for accommodations, expensive books. If they go to university. This is what this is about. This is about the cycles, and we have certain expenses. We ourselves, as for instance, as a parent, we know if we live 20 years in our house, we probably have some repairs on the roof, or maybe the plumbing need to be redone. This is what this card is about. It's about cycles of life and expenses accordingly here. This is what we are seeing here. Anyway, this is also about that we need to be aware if we have certain debts, because here we see that there is some debt here, or some unpaid things here that we are seeing here. This card tells us if we are in certain debts, we need to repay, and we need to be careful that these debts are not reoccurring, that they are not coming back here, because we know even all debts are paid for. We know that always we have some hurdle on our doorstep, and something is always returning for our payment. So if you have certain unclarity, financial unclarity here, try to gain back control over your money. The second card here is the card about our loved ones. So it means that probably we are dearly loved by the people around us. They are close to us. Probably you deeply love your partner, your children, your friends, and the people around you. And you want to show them affection. And of course, that's a good thing. But this card tells us maybe you show affection in the wrong way. Probably you show affection by spoiling them. Of course, it's not a problem if you spoil, but here this card tells us instead of spoiling them and buying them presents, or giving them amounts of money, or taking them out to restaurants, or express your feelings in any way that is costing money, instead you should actually give them the most expensive gift of all. And what is the most expensive gift of all? Well, actually, it's our time. None of us have time. We all work. We work harder and harder. And the problem that we have no more time. Here this card tells us if you want really give a very expensive gift to your children, to your loved ones, make some quality time with them, and it will really please your loved one. Take some time alone with them in private. Show them your interest by valuing them on their time, by giving them your time here. We know that the best memories that we carry in our life are related to small anecdotes, to funny things that happen in our life when we spend time with our loved ones. And of course, it don't come from object or toys. So this card tells us to be gentle with yourself and see the positive impact that it will have on your finances. And of course, it will deepen out the relationship with your loved ones. The last card is the card about that we probably have certain debts on credit cards here, because this is the card of repayments of debts. If it's not on credit cards, it's in another way that we have developed a certain debt. And this card is about a repayment, that we need to develop a certain strategy for repayment here. Also, this card tells us if you are in certain debts, it's possible that you were involved in unexpected expenses, or that something happened to you here. This card tells us not to be discouraged. It's by small amounts, step by step, that we get back on our feet, and don't of course give up before the game even started. Secondly, if you have several debts, make a list of your loans, write down their expensive rates, and of course you need to set priorities also in your debts. If the most important things you need to pay first, of course, that is logical, but also if this is on a certain credit cards and you have several credit cards, you need to find out which is your most expensive credit card here, and this credit card you need to try to balance out as soon as possible, because if we have these credit cards, and some of them, most likely it will be the credit card that always gives you money, even though it's already very low, below zero, this card keeps giving you money. It's because they charge you very high interest. Also, it's imperative maybe that once this is paid out and you are balanced with this card, you try to get rid of it, because such cards, they are no longer credit cards, they are actually sharks. Compare your rates to your traditional cards and you will see that these charge you 20 to 30%. So be very careful with these cards, because this is no longer business. This is really a shark in here that you will see that you have there. Anyway, try to balance out these cards here, try to put some cash in there so they are balanced out. And also, if you are really in that mode, of course, we have the cards here of the gifts. You will need to balance out, give less gifts to your loved ones. Of course, they will understand your situation, but we must pull together as a family here, and we must reduce our debts. And if you have repaid your debts here, you will be able to have a less restrictive lifestyle. So don't wait any longer, take the bull by the horns and start making a plan. So Leo, this is all for the water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other three that are immediately connected here. If you are interested in specific love or card readings, or specific Lenormand card readings, we also do Lenormand card readings about more extensive about work, business. You can find that all on my channel. So if you're interested in those things, you can find that all on my channel. Anyway, Leo, I want to thank you for your time, and of course, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for the time you spent on my channel. Bye bye for now, Leo. Hello, Leo, and welcome to the Air Group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. This is actually a very good card reading that we are having here. If I take the general consensus here over this reading, it tells you that you should be very happy what you have reached so far, and also how lucky you are where you have come. But we will go in the details here. The first card here is actually the positive card of the deck. It congratulates you. Probably you have progressed over the months or over the years, and this card points mostly that we are carefree for a certain period of time here. We are more captain of our ship. We are more in control. We sail to more calmer waters. Of course, we know that the battle is never over, and we need to foresee always the unforeseen. Anyway, we know that every day we must set course. But here we see also that this card tells us we can still improve our situation here, but we need to realize and recognize recognize the work we have done so far. We must realize our efforts. This card tells you to compare your current situation with that of yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And this card tells you to smile because you have progressed. You need to give yourself a break here. This card tells you give yourself a little rest to regain your breath. Appreciate the long road you have been traveling. Probably it's not been easy for coming there. And you should remember here that each problem that you have faced brought you closer to where you are now. So savor today, celebrate these accomplishments that you have, whatever they may be, and however important they are for you, but give yourself a well-deserved break here, applaud for yourself and the obstacles that you have overcome. The second card is also a lucky card. You have them almost all here. This card says that this is the lucky card also of the deck here, and this card tells us that money don't bring happiness, but we all of course need to admit that we need to have it. According to Maslow's pyramid, we first need to have or cover our basic needs. These are psychological and security needs, and then of course we aspire to self-fulfillment. However, here we see also that we need to distinguish the essential from the luxurious needs here. We cannot be confused about the basic needs with luxurious needs. Of course, we all like to have more, we like to travel more, we like to spend more, but this card tells us that this will not guarantee your feeling of completeness or wholeness. So here this card tells you that you need to take a break again and look at your pursuit of happiness. It depends, of course, on your personal point of view. If you associate your happiness with the standards of kings, or are you happy in the middle, or are you a very simple person and are happy with very few things? Of course, we need to add here, if money was so strongly connected to joy and bliss, then we need to ask ourselves, why are so many of the super rich unhappy, sometimes even depressed? Anyway, it makes us think. Of course, we need money for covering our basic needs. However, once these needs are filled, it all depends solely on your point of view. Anyway, this card tells us that we need to enjoy the little things of life, and probably the real luxury you already have around you and the real enjoyment, because mostly this card also points to the people around us that love us, and that is actually the real treasure here in the box, the people around us. The last card that we have here is about our ancestors, but also we need to think about the less fortunate people that are around us here, but it also represents our grandparents, great-grandparents here. We are in a certain conditions today, and the certain conditions that we have today, certain securities are made possible, for most of us, because of previous generations. We need to remember that our grandparents or our great-grandparents mostly lived on one salary. Mostly one of both parents worked, and the other one took care of the children, and the priorities for those people was sending the children to school, and of course see that they have food and they could go staying to school. But maybe sometimes this card tells you feel some unhappiness, but this card wants you to reflect about the happiness you have now, and you need to distinguish their situation, their generation, between the generations of now. We need to remember here, this card tells us how little they had. They had no access to credit cards. The most important thing was the payment of the house, of course, so they could stay in their house and of course feed their children here. They needed to see that their house was paid off long before retirement, so they could make up some savings for the future here. And sometimes also, even when they were in retirement, they were short of things here. So if you compare yourself to these people, realize even sometimes if you experience unpleasant times according to yourself, that you're still in a very good position. And if we consider also the current situation that we are in, for instance, that is upon us, like the the viruses that are around us, and a lot of people who lost their job, who are in very difficult situations. Sometimes some people cannot even buy 3 meals a day anymore due to these so-called viruses and the restrictions that some governments implemented on them. So if we see our current situation, we should ask if this is the same for you, if you compare yourself to them and to your grandparents. If you are honest, you know there is no parallel here between the two. Anyway, this card tells us we should be happy where we are. And the question is, are you? So, Leo, this is all for the Air Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this optimistic card reading that we have here. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you're interested in specific love card readings or more future oriented card readings, you can find also Lenormand card readings on my channel. Everything is explained there in detail. You just check the channel and you find several things there that might interest you. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, Leo. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for your time. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Leo, and welcome to the Stone or the Earth group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of luck here. What does this card tell us? Well, the card says that money don't bring happiness, but of course we all need to admit that it's easy to have enough of it. Also, according to Maslow's pyramids, we must first cover our basic needs, our psychological and security needs, and then we aspire to self-fulfillment. However, maybe through the years, some of these situations blurred a little bit. Sometimes this card points that we cannot distinguish anymore the essential or between the essential and the luxury goods here. So this card wants us to reflect. Of course, it goes without saying that everybody of us want to have more. We like to travel more, we like to spend more. But this card also asks you, does this guarantee your feeling of completeness, of wholeness? Maybe not, so you should consider this here. Anyway, this card tells you also to take a break and think about your pursuit of happiness, what happiness is really for you, what does it mean for you. For some people, it means that they want the standard life of a king. Other people are happy in the middle class, other people are happy with very few. So you need to distinguish yourself, what you want, what is your aspiration for life, and see if this really would make you happy. We also need to add here, if money were so strongly connected to joy, why are so many of the super rich unhappy and some of them even very depressed? So it's all raises questions here. Of course, money is essential to meet our basic needs. I'm aware of that, and everybody is aware of that. But once these are fulfilled, then our quest for happiness depends on our personal point of view. So this card tells us that we should enjoy the little things in life, appreciate those around you. Probably the treasure is already in the box, and that's the people around you here, and maybe that is the real deal. The next card that we see here is the card of well-organized gift and spending. Mostly this points, in general, Leo has a very big heart and he gives out of his heart, and probably this card means that you give a lot to your loved ones, maybe you even spoil them a lot here. But this card asks you if the last toy or the last gift or the gifts that you give in general to these people, is this really necessary? Will your children love you less? Will your nephews look less up to you if you don't pamper them so much? So this card tells us, if you always give gifts to other people, even though it's meant well and it comes out of the heart, it has a certain impact on our daily life and especially on our budget. Well-started charity, it starts by itself. This is what the proverb says. So it's an important lesson here when it comes to spending money. If you see that certain of your generosities, it leads you to some problems, of course, or it contributes to your financial distress. It has no place in our life. So before we give to others, we need to secure our own future. We need to see that we are safe ourselves. Here we are advised to build up a safety cushion for the future here. So stimulate your own future rather than squandering certain surpluses to Dravia for whomever they might be. So here this card asks us to remove the essential from the unnecessary. And if you do so, you will be able to establish a wallet which will allow you to give healthy generosity in a certain time at a certain moment. The last card is about cash payment. For many of us, it's something out of the time of the dinosaurs. Very few of us pay with cash, but this card wants you to pay cash. Why will you ask me? Well, most of us, we pay with credit cards and we have no sense anymore what we are paying. We don't calculate, we don't even check our monthly expenses anymore. We don't open the envelope, we don't check the mails that we receive from the bank, we don't check anything at all, especially if this is for small amounts. But here this card tells you to get a better control over your life, because the general idea of this reading is that you improve your life, and you can do this by paying cash. How there is a difference, you would think? Well, psychologically it's like this: if you pay with a credit card, you put the thing on the machine and it's paid, but we don't think twice, we don't check, we don't do nothing. But if you get the money from the machine, you put it in your wallet and you hand it over to the cashier, there's a difference. It gives a pain response, psychological pain response in your brain, and you actually realize that you spend money, and also you see the money disappearing out of your wallet. And this is what this card wants to achieve. It wants you to get back in contact with your spending of your money. It wants you to make conscious how you spend money. And if you compare the two payment methods, you will see there's a difference, and you will easily also see the difference between the necessities and the luxuriousness. This is what this card is about. Of course, it's no coincidence that traders, banks, they want to gradually eliminate paper money. It's actually their wet dream, and they want to support a society where consumption is constantly increasing, and virtual payment is of course absolutely necessary for them, because we lose track of our expenses. But this card tells you to do actually the opposite, and it wants you to get in charge of your wallet. So pay cash for all your purchases for 1 month and see what is the difference. And you will see there is a difference, and you will regain more control over your spendings. So this card asks you if you are willing to take up that challenge. So Leo, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you're interested in love card readings, you can also find these on my channel. You can also find extensive Lenormand card readings over several topics on my channel. You just check the channel and you find a lot of things there that give you information over your life in the months to come. Anyway, Leo, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your time, Leo, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Leo, and welcome to the Fire or the Matches group for your philosophical financial card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of our monthly payments. We all have them, our monthly payments, such as telephone, internet, services, insurances, magazine subscriptions. These are recurrent and systematic payments, and we don't pay attention to those. But also this card tells us that actually you should, because a large proportion of people don't even notice when these expenses increase, and not even if they are major ones here. So this card tells you to check out if you have invoices that are slightly or even that have a big increase. Mostly if we sign in, for instance, for a promo for internet, this has a time expiration. So it means these promos are restricted in time. These firms in many countries have the right to adjust your invoices if you are out of the promo. Most customers don't check that, so for them it's an additional win situation here, and this card tells you to check out and pay special attention here to time limited discounts and keep track of expirations of certain promos. If you see that certain things are changed in your billing, call for instance your internet company and see if you can go back in the old promos. Of course, if they are unwilling, you can always see if it's not interesting for changing company here if you don't get your old discounts back. Sometimes this is also about insurances. It means that certain people here in this group need to review their insurances. Maybe if you are not into insurances, maybe you are already many years with the same insurances and some clauses need to be adjusted, or some insurances need to be adjusted financially here. This is what we are seeing here. If you don't know about insurances, seek the advice of a broker here and let your things check. This is also about bank accounts and payments on bank accounts. For instance, we can check what we need to pay for every withdrawal that we do, and we should actually check and compare the rates of our bank. Maybe you're already many years in the same bank and you never compare. It's a question of trust, but maybe if you compare it to other banks, you will see that there's a big difference between banks in payments. And then of course we get the input here. If we want to go along with current times, we should compare it also with internet banking. Internet banks have the advantage, they are very cheap. And I hear you thinking, yes, but probably there will be an angle. Well, yes and no. The thing is with internet banking is the reason why they are so cheap is because they have no branches and they have no staff. That is the reason. And of course, then the stability of the bank, that's probably what you're thinking about here. If you think about the stability and you do a little bit of police work and you check online, you will see that most of these internet banks are connected to big banks, even to your bank, but they just operate under a different name and they belong to your bank. So here, if we do so, you will not have to be a magician, but if you go for internet banking, it's easy to save $1,000 to $2,000 a year without you actually do something. So here, check out if you have interest in that, if you cannot make some savings with changing bank or going for internet banking. This is what this card is about. We go with current times for this card. Anyway, this card tells us that each small amount of savings is important. It makes a big difference for us on the long run. On annual basis, it's better that you redecorate the house than you redecorate the bank. This is what we are seeing here. So if you amount all these amounts up, you come to a serious amount. The second card is actually a very strict card that we have here. Sometimes this card means that maybe our lifestyle is a little bit over the top. Maybe we spend too much because we have the card here from the holidays also. And maybe during the holiday period, you spend a little bit too much here. And this card tells us that maybe we need to put the things to a halt. Maybe we spend money we don't actually have. If you do so, just remember that this brings more debts. If you have open standing credits on credit cards, you pay a lot of interests here. Maybe you've done a lot of effort, so don't waste your efforts that you did before. Try to balance out your accounts. Here we see if we pay only the minimum, we still have the interest here and it has consequences. So we need to try to balance out our cards here. This is what we are seeing here. Anyway, also we need to think here that it's possible, because this card is also about unexpected expenses. So maybe in the future, in the near future, some unexpected expenses are popping up here. Nobody is safeguarded and we never know when this might pop up. So here, be careful if you are too much out of balance here with your account. If you see, of course, that this so-called unexpected expenses that are reoccurring, that means probably that you are overspending. So then it's no longer unexpected expenses, but it means that you maybe monthly overspend too much. I'm only the card reader here, don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, these cards ask us here, or this group, if you are living beyond your means here. So here, this card tells us to go on an adventure and try to reduce the use of your credit cards. The last card that we are seeing here is the card of the holidays. Maybe this is what caused the problem before. Anyway, here we see, we know that celebrations and holidays have become very commercial. We know this, Valentine's Day, Christmas. Of course, this is not about buying a box of chocolate for your loved ones or a small gift. This is about, this card is that we are going back and that we realize the real essence of these festivals. Nobody knows, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, but nobody remembers actually what these holidays means. And Christmas gradually changed its status from sacred holiday, if that belongs to your religion. It gradually changed from a sacred holiday into a celebration of abundance. And that is what this card is about. Mostly in the rest of the year, for instance, for giving Christmas as an example, we are budgeting, we are all in financial goodwill, but when Christmas is coming, sometimes we overindulge ourselves. And then now we are in January, when the invoices arrive, sometimes for some people, it might be a horror, and they realize here they overspent. So here this tells you to learn the origins back about certain holidays, Christmas, Easter, and Valentine, and go back on the real meaning. Whether if it's your belief or not, it's not important here, but these celebrations, we need to put them back in their historical context. That's the purpose of this card here. And if we do so, we can easily put them back in their context, and we will not overconsume so much. Also, this card tells us not to be fooled by advertising, marketing surrounding certain holidays, Christmas, but it's a little bit too late now if you are in those expenses. But maybe it's a good idea for Valentine that is coming next month. So here we see that gifts are meant to be an expression of feelings, but it's not about abundance here. It's about giving quality to our loved ones. And maybe the most precious gift that we can give them is our love. And maybe it's not necessary to overspend. It's best that we pay some attention to our loved ones. Anyway, Leo, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interest in specific love card readings, you can find them on my channel. If you are interested in Lenormand card readings for the near future, what is happening or what is coming, you can find that all by month on my channel. Anyway, Leo, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I thank you for that. Anyway, Leo, thank you and bye-bye for now.